Oh, okay, that worked much easier than I thought it would. Oh yeah, this is going to be a very short walk. This is crappy. So there was a article that popped up. I was trying to remember a few things to talk about today, my walk. And so one of these, actually, the important one, is this article that is getting into a uptick in deaths, and it was reported from an insurance firm. So basically, this insurance firm was saying that one of the smallest businesses that it covers is they're going to have 100 million in outlays, or there's 100 million in claims between disability and deaths and payouts from deaths. So he was saying that fundamentally, deaths in America among working age people 18 through 64 as being tracked by their insurance companies, because their insurance companies are the ones who are going to be usually the earliest to deal with anything. So they have almost instantaneous data on this. The article made clear, because this came up on Zero Hedge, and then I ended up going to the original article, that it got into this whole business of that the CDC's numbers are usually weeks behind on deaths, while something like an insurance company, especially what they're doing is they're looking at only the numbers that they have, which are their clients. So these clients in the workforce, these are not unemployed people. And they got into, it's something like only 15% are linked to COVID. It was something like that, or it's some like 50-something% of the deaths have nothing to do. They're just completely other ailments and illnesses. And so it was kind of interesting, because one person, I mentioned this to, and they're a young person, young people tend to be a bit cynical, and it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of morbid, but we are overpopulated. So this is still commonly thought to be like an educated idea, is that, how horribly overpopulated we are. That the world is tilting off its axis because the weight of the humans. Rather than that there's just a lot of humans that are exceedingly wasteful and slothful and won't, and they're just kind of bad at, they really are really bad at actually in dealing with their environment. They're bad in the environment of reality. There just needs to be fewer humans, and then we solve that problem. I guess maybe I could see how that would work overall, but anyway, how do you have problem children with no children at all? So the thing that really was striking me is, of course, this would mean with the retirements we're seeing, with the people who don't want to return back to work, but then also the thing of, why should I deal with, these young people who are kind of unlikable and they're bad workers. I've gotten years in this field. I've worked my ass off. The government's just going to hand me money to stay out of the workforce, and I still know what I'm doing. So people just taking fundamentally a really long vacation. Or there's people that it's like, I just, I'm getting tired, I'm an American who's worked really hard, and now I'm tired, and this whole shutdown has just taken it the fuck out of me. I think that one is going to pan out as a bigger deal. I think the pace that a lot of people had to keep up, just psychically exhausted them, and then the illness, just exhausted them. It just exhausted their mind, and they're just done. They're like, why? And especially then seeing how everybody's reacted. What would people allow done to one another if they could? Seeing how riot and crime can be allowed, but people aren't supposed to meet for Christmas dinner. Just that's suddenly you realize that you have a society full of demented, anti-religious, smart people who obviously need to be thinned from the herd, and it's just so there's these times where I'm just sitting back like, I bet this was just exhausting for a lot of people. There's a lot of people who, why would they want to be alive anymore? I mean, that meme, I don't want to be alive anymore, I could totally see how that could, that was a super G-Man vehicle driving by. I could totally see that. These people that they've kind of given up on existing, That's a big part of staying well, is your mind. We're probably seeing partially what a lot of people were talking about. The gulag is breaking people. That's because now the numbers are in. 40% rise in rates of death since prior to COVID. This is one insurance firm. This insurance firm said, we're multi-billion. This is not abnormal in the insurance world right now. People are just fucking dying. They don't want to be alive anymore. Like, wow, dude. I mean, that's some shit. And so Eric, I wanted to make sure. Okay, he said this is Sigma 3. I remember you using the Sigma symbol when you were showing me something about means. Right. Oh, what's it to the mean? Oh, I can't believe I'm forgetting that name. Oh, I feel so old. Yeah, I forget the term that I remember you were showing me about Sigma. So this is 3 Sigma change in rates of death is the it was what this was saying. So this is a 1 in 200 year death rate event. So what this guy basically sort of, when I thought about that, 1 in 200 years. So you mean 1 in like a true epidemic, famine, a war that lasts, that spans over a generation, that seems to move across a region over an entire generation. As the power changes and the victors here and there change. So we're losing people as if there is a war going on right now, but silently, quietly and silently, and it's only being tracked because they're in the workforce and are people who they could afford insurance. This is the other thing, that they are on insurance programs to have this reported. So that's that was another part of it. I'm like, so this is a job with bennies. These are people who have jobs. These have benefits. The range is 18 through the 60s. Now, it said that most of these deaths are coming from older people. But basically, one of the lines from the original article is just Hoosiers' health just has collapsed during all of this. The health of the average Hoosier has just simply collapsed. And I was like, wow, that would follow what I'm seeing here. I would absolutely follow. Like, I'm seeing a whole lot of people around this area that it's taken a bite out of a lot of people here. That there's just something a little less color in the cheeks, a little less light in the eyes. Usually a bit of weight added on. But I mean, that could be dealt with. But I mean, like, that's an amazing change, 40%, and this is before COVID as well. Let me reiterate that. So beyond that article, that's just still rolling over in my mind because I'm thinking about the ramifications of this. Just the sheer amount of people who will be in debt forever, and that their degree will never help them. It'll never really be something that they do as a field. Then there's going to be the people who are skilled in any field at all dying in droves. Like, I've seen people who work almost full time and they have to live out of a vehicle. I mean, but yet if you're a student, you can riot. You're a part of a special class that can like riot and do whatever they kind of want because it's fundamentally it's just a luxury brand, luxury party brand. It's a party where you pretend you're at school or something. I mean, like, we've gone from so faking the funk, fake it till you make it. Like, we have become just the phoniest people, the fakest and the gayest people ever. Not even China will allow their people to be as gay as we will be. It might, it's still, everything is, China is a Chinese communist knockoff, but holy crap, at least they're not half as gay anymore. They might be fake, but at least it's not half as gay. Oh my gosh. Wow, this is all fucked up. I took the wrong route. I took the route of deep puddles. Woo! See, this is my video game. Walk around the puddles. Drink your coffee. Walk around the puddles. Oop, hop over that one. Avoid the maniac. Avoid the maniac. EVE Online, fantastic. Everybody's back. Got murked like 3 times. I'm at that stage where I'm like, yeah, like getting my ship blown up, and being able to warp out on time, that is priceless. But I mean, like, it was legit fun, like, because there was this period of time where I was like, boy, this region of space seems to be unoccupied, and now people are back, and faction warfare is hot. And so as I'm moving stuff around through space, it's like, I'm like, do I take this route, which people will know people are taking, because it's one of the only quasi-safe stretches? Or do I prefer shorter? So my new character is Dank. Looks like a cyberspace maniac guy. It's like freaking great. And very, very excited about skilling him up to the point where I could just start belt ratting and get him into trouble and stuff like that. Start getting cheap implants so as to get his skill set going. And it was that kind of thing that I'm at that stage of EVE Online playing where I'm like, oh, 195 days. Okay, that's not that long. 195 days to get there? Yeah, that's cool, you know. At least it's not 200, you know. So, that's working out well. I'm making just enough money that I'll be able to absolutely afford all the memberships and everything, but because that's my big hobby, I don't buy jerseys, I don't buy tickets to games, I buy Plex. Now there was one other thing that I was like thinking, like, dang, I gotta make sure to. Oh yeah, so I've been starting to see, you know, now the ramp up of as the midterms are ramping up, you know, there's conferences and everybody's having their talks and they're being on each other's streams and everything, and I'm seeing how America First is doing their thing. And so one of the things I've been thinking about with this is it's interesting to now see how savvy everybody's becoming on the right about political players. And what was it? Richard Spencer now is saying that he is a diehard supporter of Macron. Macron reminds Richard Spencer of himself, talking about big ideas about what being European is. That from the Martinez Perspectives little clip of Richard Spencer talking. So that end of the rightists seems to be pretty well, like whatever they're doing their thing, and it doesn't seem people really care. It does seem that Fuentes has taken wings and is flying now. You know, he's maintaining a good solid 10. Was it coasting at 10,000 feet? You know, that they know what they're about. They know that. Yeah, they know what they're about. They know what they stand for, and so it's kind of interesting now to see. I want to see who's going to pull what shenanigans to kind of get their face out there. I think this is the year we'll see a lot more right-wing women taken who are very serious people, and that they will be very successful on the right because it's just like Malcolm X saying the reason they chose Martin Luther King was behind Martin Luther King was me, an N-word with a gun. That they're like, yeah, I don't want to talk to her husband. I want to talk to her. Because people think, well, we could convince you, you know, Lori Boebert, that maybe just a little, teaching kids a little about butt sex is not inappropriate. But Lori Boebert's going to be like, no, I'm sorry, click clack. You know, you want to teach my kid what again? What were those words you just said? I love that meme from whatever show that is, and the guy keeps cocking the shotgun over and over and over again. That fucking shit is hilarious. I was like, dude, they nailed that. They fucking really did nail that. I really kind of enjoy some of the absurdist humor that's come out of the young people. That is kind of fun. That they do get absurdist humor very well, and the meme animation and the memes. There we go. That's what it was. I was thinking about animation. The right has everything except for a generational cartoon work series that it can now sort of claim as its own. And I mean, really, it's the artistic end of it that has not necessarily completely lined up. But it's going to. You could already see. I'm starting to see now all the short movies of like Star Wars movies that are on YouTube. That are these short YouTube movies, independent projects that people did to, do different like video game based movies. These lore projects that people would do for different games and stuff and cartoons. And so it's coming. You could see that it's building as a thing, but it's just a matter of time until it happens. That there's going to be that thing that the right can lay claim to. And they're like, we did this. And there's little projects already that have started, independent games, independent comic books, things like that. But, yeah. There we go. All right, later.